What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the ZigZag. My name is Corbin, and thank you for joining me here today. And it is the most important, the most special, the craziest week in all of wrestling, because it is WrestleMania weekend coming up soon, and I am so excited. I believe it's 4 days away. 4 days maybe seems like a long time for you, but not for me. Today, I got to go to class on a Wednesday. It sucks, but I got to go to class. I got like 4 or 5 classes tomorrow, and then I don't have anything Friday. So basically after that last class, I believe it's, what time does that class end? Usually 7:30 at night. After 7:30 at night, I am in full WrestleMania mode. I am even right now. I just have to take small little breaks to go to class, lock in on schoolwork. Right now I'm doing a project where I have to create a film score. And if you guys have ever done that, ever used GarageBand to make music and try and align it with certain scenes from a movie, not like you have ever done that before, but if you have, it sucks. It's really hard. It's really fun to sit there and mess around with stuff, but you compare it to, your Star Warses, your Lord of the Rings, and you're like, wow, I'm horrible at this. There's a reason I am an attempting YouTuber and not a musical composer, if you know what I'm saying. It's really tough, but we're coming up on the end of the school year, and that's kind of what's fun right now, is because I have Mania now, and then probably the next time we have a PLE, I will most likely be out of school. I'm not exactly sure when Backlash is going to be, but should be whenever I'm out of school, which I'm super excited about. And it's, the end is right around the corner for me. So like I just said, I'm really excited. So if you guys can do me a favor, go down below, like and subscribe if you have not already done so. Hit the bell for notifications if you would like. All my links are down below to my other platforms. We have a lot of fun over the course of all my different channels. So let's just go ahead and shut me up and let me talk about what you really want to hear: wrestling. So we're going to kick it off with SmackDown. And I'm going to be so honest with you guys, this probably isn't going to be a super long episode because not really a ton of stuff happened, because it's just more build to WrestleMania. I didn't even write down what happened between Roman and Punk. Here, I'll even write down right now so I remember to talk about it. Roman Punk Kiss promo, because that's what it felt like, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but it was pretty terrible. So we get the last bit of Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. Drew McIntyre starts off with a promo talking about how Jacob belongs in jail, and he's filming this entire sequence in a jail cell, and it was just so spectacular, and I thought it was funny, but it also captured like what really their feud has been about this entire time. And he ends it with saying, "You're going to be sitting right here once I'm done with you." And of course, he's sitting in the jail cell. It was just so great. And this feud has, it's probably been the best worked storyline and best worked feud of all of WrestleMania, if I'm being honest. Like this one, and Stephanie and Liv have also done a very good job, but I felt like this has never had a bump in the road. The Roman and Punk has been really good, but there have been some bumps in the road here and there. And of course, we get the Randy and Cody storyline, which obviously people aren't too happy with, but what happens. But I think consistency wise, the Drew McIntyre Jacob Fatu feud has been the best leading into WrestleMania, along with Oba and Brock. Oba and Brock has also been very good, but I think that Drew and Jacob are really gonna cook up something special here at Mania, and I'm really excited. Here's moving over to the Pat McAfee, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton situation. It's funny because I really like Pat McAfee as a heel. As a heel, his character works way too well, because he takes Pat and he turns him up to 11. I love Pat, but he's a super nice guy. Super nice guy, but he's just a twinge bit of a D-bag. And going into the WWE, he just takes that doucheness and turns it up to 11. And so this heel Pat McAfee character, it's this huge, raging douchebag who runs his mouth constantly. And that character, I really like it. And some people are going to be online, they're going to be like, no, it's terrible, he's ruining the feud. I don't care. What's happened, happened. Has it ruined the feud? I don't think so anymore. I really don't think it ruined the feud. You could have used the history. They didn't. They tried to put more heat on Randy Orton by using Pat McAfee, someone who people would be like, why is he here? Why is he involved? Kind of what they did with Travis Scott last year with John Cena, trying to get more heat on him. We've seen this before, so I'm not letting it ruin my experience of the night one main event, WrestleMania. But I like Pat's character. I don't really like... I even wrote down here, I don't really want him involved in the match. I kind of just want it to be Cody versus Randy because they're so good. And there might be some sort of interference with Pat there that helps Randy pick up the win. But it's not going to dampen my viewing experience. Some people, I feel like they're taking this to heart way too hardly. And it just kind of sucks because they shouldn't like hate this so much. Just sit back and try to enjoy what you can. I think it's just a little bit stupid to have this ruin your entire WrestleMania experience just because of like one little instance, basically. So after that, I did see a plan online. I've seen some rumors. You've seen the little teases from WWE potentially. There is a plan to have Cody versus Jelly Roll versus Randy. Cody and Jelly Roll versus Randy and Pat. Sorry about that. I'm not 100% sure about this. I think people online are going to hate this. I don't care. At this point, what's done is done. The direction they're going to go with it is the direction they're going to go with it. And we as fans and we as people with opinions just need to sit back and just let this ride out. Because it's going to get to a point, I think, where so much bad stuff is going to happen and you're going to disagree with so many different things and all this is going to happen, where at some point you just need to be like, well, this isn't exactly what I want. It's not the way I wanted this to go. But if we push through this, then we might make it. As a Dominic Mysterio fan, I know this. If you guys watch F1, if you are a Pierre Gasly fan, you guys can't see him. He's up there. As someone who usually ends up picking the underdogs, or someone who picks people that how do I say this? Suck, but not really suck. Just people who don't have the opportunities of others. You kind of sit back and learn, well, maybe this wrestler has lost 50 matches in a row, but whenever he wins that one match, that's going to be pretty sweet. Like I said, as a Dom fan, whenever I first started watching, he lost like probably 10 matches in a row, and then he randomly won a tag team match against his dad, Rey Mysterio, with Liv Morgan's help. So you got to just look out for the big moments, those big happy moments for yourself. And then, of course, Dom goes on and he loses on repeat until WrestleMania, where he finally wins the title. And guess what? That was a big aha moment. And I'm not saying it's the exact same, but I just think whenever we drop off Pat and Jelly and we get to the end of where WWE wants us to go, all of you guys who are sitting here going, oh, this is terrible, are going to get to this moment where you're like, this is the aha. I've been looking forward to this moment. Pierre Gasly. Last year, excuse my language, he drove a shitbox for an F1 car. He's an F1 driver. And guess what? He is now consistently making it into the top 10. And it has made my life so much better because I have went through an entire season where I was watching my favorite driver struggle week in and week out. And guess what? It sucks because there's nothing you can do about it. Guess what? If you're sitting back there on the couch and you're going on Twitter, and you're on Instagram, and you're just sitting on online complaining about everything, guess what? You can't do anything. So why waste your brain power, waste your waste the muscles in your thumbs typing up a storm on the internet when you can just sit back and be like, you know what? This sucks, but eventually we're going to move our way out of this. With old Pierre up here, his car has been very solid. He's been sitting around P7 every single race, which in F1 standards, he's not in even remotely the best car, but he's doing the best he can and he's getting that finish. And guess what? I'm sitting here like, that's awesome. Him getting P7 compared to not being in last place or near last like he was last year because of how bad the car was. That's the aha moment for me. So I think that a lot of people just need to look at this and just wait for the aha moment. Try to enjoy it as much as you can, because you being online isn't going to change that much, if I'm going to be honest. So, and then getting back to WWE, Pat comes out to a crazy amount of boos, and his promo that he cut was good. It was good, great even. Punk coming out and he addresses what CM Punk said. CM Punk, obviously last week was talking about Pat McAfee's getting all this money and I'm here for the fans and doing all that. He was saying all the common CM Punk stuff. Pat's response was his TKO merch money goes straight to his bank account, not towards broke people's bank accounts. And then Pat also says, thank him for 25% off tickets right now, which I believe feels desperate as hell, but we're going to get to there in a little bit. But this response was hilarious. And if I'm being honest, it cooked CM Punk, because he's not wrong. The CM Punk merch money is not being distributed to fans who can't afford WrestleMania tickets or even Raw tickets, which is unfortunate, but Punk is out here talking crap about Pat. I feel like this was the perfect response. And people online haven't even been talking that much about this promo, because I think people realize that he's not wrong. He's genuinely not wrong. So I thought Pat did a great job. I always think he does a great job. I don't want him involved in the storyline. I've said it before, like I just said, we got to write it out. But him saying this is kind of making the most of it. And I'm picking different areas to be happy about this. This promo coming after CM Punk, after Punk came after him, it was great. It was fantastic. So moving over the 25% off tickets thing, like I said, that is desperate as hell. You're not selling tickets. So what you're going to do is you're going to be like, well, all right, 25% off all tickets. And I genuinely think that they had to do this because they're not selling tickets, because everything's so expensive. So you put the 25% off coupon on and you'll be okay. But that's only for Saturday, because Sunday, I believe, is perfectly fine because it's such a good card. And I'm not saying the Saturday card is bad or anything like that. I just think that the Sunday card is so much better that people are willing to pay that 25% extra bit of their money towards the ticket, unlike what's going on Saturday, where it's like, we could pay for the 2-day package, but why would we go to the 2-day package whenever we're just going to go and see the one match we want to see, which I guess the one match for most people would probably be the Drew versus Jacob match. At least that's what I would think from my personal side of it. But, you could be there for any match or a few different matches, but you could just be there and be like, well, it's not really worth it. So they put the 25% off tickets just so people will finally be like, okay, maybe I don't want to see the Becky Lynch match or the Fatal 4-Way maybe they don't want to see even the main event. Like, who knows, between Randy and Cody. But that's just like a hypothetical, by the way. I think all the matches are going to be great except for the women's Fatal 4-Way. But the 25% off tickets make sense because Saturday obviously is not doing as well as Sunday is, and I just thought it looked a little bit desperate. But like I said, I do see what WWE is doing, which is a very unpopular opinion, but the Pat McAfee scenario, like I was saying, it makes sense because nobody was ever going to hate Randy Orton. They were never going to turn on the greatest of all time. But if you put this giant fork in the road if you put this, this big old piece of change, which wrestling fans hate change, they do. If you put this fork in the road, people are going to hate it. And I see where the idea is coming from. You take someone that people, online realistically didn't like. I thought Pat was a fantastic commentator. It felt like you took someone who was a fan and you pulled him over the barricade and you shoved a mic in his face. So whatever he said, it was just going out there, and it was great. That's why I loved Pat on commentary, because it's literally like if I was sitting there giving out commentary, that's what I would be saying. I would be saying like the holy hell and saying all these different lines that someone like a Michael Cole or Corey Graves or whoever wouldn't be saying. It was just more from a fan's POV for me. That's what I liked about him, but a lot of people didn't. A lot of people hated the Pat McAfee thing. They hated him on commentary. And because they hate him on commentary, WWE is like, we got an idea. We want to quote unquote ruin this feud. We want to do this. Let's take Pat and insert him in with Randy Orton. And maybe it's not necessarily people are hating Randy Orton. They are hating the idea of Pat McAfee and Randy Orton ruining the vibe that Randy and Cody have originally had. And then, of course, Pat McAfee goes on to say that if Randy loses, you'll never see him in the WWE again. Which, if you guys want to go see my picks for this year's WrestleMania, it should be out by tomorrow, I hope. Tomorrow, I should have my WrestleMania predictions up on my YouTube channel. So make sure to look out for that, because that will be up soon. I go into further depth of who I want to win. There's a reason I'm not doing it on here, because if I were to do it on here, it would be all of this I'm about to talk about, which is going to be about an hour like normal, plus like the 40 minutes for the video. And of course, I edit up the video for you guys. So it's a lot more fun to watch. I put up some pictures, maybe a few videos, throw in some sound effects. You guys will really enjoy it. I really do work hard on those videos. I don't work hard on these. On the podcasts, it's just me talking. I don't edit these up at all. I put in my intro, I put in the theme music and some fadeaways. That's literally it. But on my actual videos, I do put in a lot of work. The problem for me with video making, this is going to go on a completely other tangent. I'm sorry. The problem with video making with the WWE is that if I try to take videos from anywhere, the WWE just hammers me with a copyright infringement. So you really have to be careful of what kind of videos you show. I'm lucky enough that I get away with my intro. My intro of Dolph Ziggler defeating Alberto Del Rio to become a world heavyweight champion. I think that potentially maybe there's something up with it to where the WWE is not detecting it. And the YouTube algorithm is not detecting it as copyright. So luckily enough, I am able to escape with that one. But I really do have to be careful. I can't just put a video of someone's finisher and it's over like a certain amount of time. Like I posted a video the other day ranking the worst finishers in the WWE right now. And I think that sadly enough, I put like a 5-second clip of different people's finishers, and it got hit like almost immediately. Like probably a day or 2 days later, it got hit with a little bit of a restriction warning, and it got blocked because the WWE owns the rights to that footage. So that's why if you go watch my videos, all of it's in pictures. Whenever I do eventually do a finisher tier list again, I'm going to find a way to manipulate the video to where they maybe can't catch exactly how I'm spinning it to enable you guys to watch the finisher in some sort of way. But for now, all of my videos just have pictures, but that seems to get the memo across pretty well in my opinion. So if you guys want to go check it out whenever it comes out tonight or tomorrow, please. I think you guys would really love it. And I would also love to hear your opinions. If you don't end up wanting to watch it, if you just want to go in the comments below and tell me kind of what you're thinking for WrestleMania and your predictions, please, I'd love to know. So back over to this. So I random rant about, I hate YouTube. I love it, but I hate it because they block my stuff and it's annoying. But we get over to Drew and Jacob again. And Drew brings out the handcuffs and he kicks the absolute hell out of Jacob Fatu just one last time. And again, it's just further escalating the feud, which what I talked about earlier, the Drew and Jacob storyline hasn't been bad at all. It just keeps growing on top of itself. I'm just loving it so much. And of course, hits him with a few claymores. Kind of leads us into our next question. This next question says, what is the most overrated finisher in WWE history? So, I'm trying to think of, some of you are like, overrated RKO. It's not. It's not the RKO. There's a ton of different finishers that are honestly like flowing through my head. The worst and overrated are two I think the worst finisher all time is the big leg. I think it's or the crown drop. The crown drop is also pretty terrible. But like those two are bad, but they're not overrated. People know that those are bad finishers. A finisher that is good, I mean that people think is good, but I actually think is overrated. I mean the figure four leg lock. I think the figure four leg lock is stupid. If you're in that position, like I understand they're selling and all that stuff, but you could literally just get out of it. Like you could literally just get out of it and back up and grab the rope and escape out of it. I'm not a big fan of the figure four. Like I think that like the Boston Crab or the Walls of Jericho, like that's a way better oh my gosh, submission than the figure four. And then of course the figure eight. I think the figure eight's even worse because it's just the exact same thing, but Charlotte bridges her back. But her other finisher I also hate. The thing where you roll forward, the natural selection, that's what it's called. The natural selection's also awful. It's so awful and people love it. I posted that video of like the worst finishers in the WWE, and I got a lot of hate because I put her finisher on there, and guess what? I don't care. It's bad. Some other overrated finishers. Do you know what I should really do? I really should just like look this up. I should look up finisher for WWE wrestlers. Finishers for WWE wrestlers. I'm just gonna kind of look through this and see if I can see any that I'm looking at and I'm like these are terrible and people really like this. Oh, the twisted. Oh, people are gonna hate this. Twisted Bliss, Alexa Bliss's finisher. That's not it for me. I don't like that one, and it's just because the Bliss DDT, the Sister Abigail DDT, is just so much better in my opinion. Where she gets her and hits her with the DDT, and people can sell the hell out of it as well. So I hate whenever I don't hate the move, the Twisted Bliss. I just don't like how that's her finisher sometimes. But I wouldn't necessarily call that overrated. Oh, another good one is people are really gonna hate me for that. Oh my gosh, the spear. The spear is terrible, guys. Every single superstar and their mom does a spear. And do you know what? That's what I'm gonna go with. I think the spear is the most overrated finisher in WWE history, and not because it's overrated by fans. It's overrated by WWE superstars as well. You have Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso sometimes. He doesn't use it as much as Jey does. You have a whole bunch of people, like Charlotte Flair uses it sometimes, and I think Lash Legend also does a version as well. Like, there are so many people that you're thinking of right now that are like, oh yeah, they do the spear, and there's like 15 of them that are out there using the spear, and to me it's like, it's just boring. The person that I think like gets away with the spear, Oh, Braun Breaker. Oh my gosh, I miss Braun Breaker. But Braun Breaker gets away with the spear because he makes it look so menacing and gross. Roman Reigns gets away with it because his body is like he's so jacked and built, and he's also really tall, so his spear looks crazy because he's such a tall guy. Other people doing the spear doesn't work. It always just looks terrible and forced, and people using that as their finisher, besides someone of the name of Braun Breaker, Roman Reigns, doesn't work for me. And I think there are too many spears. I think it's too basic of a move for people to love. It's just a tackle. I mean, it's like that's all it is. It's a football tackle. So I think that the spear is the most overrated finisher in WWE history. We get Sami Zayn out again on SmackDown, and this dude again is booed like hell. And as a longtime Sami Zayn unenjoyer, I'm loving this. I'm loving this because I have never been a Sami Zayn fan ever, and I wasn't watching WWE whenever he was this he was fighting against the bloodline and doing all this stuff, which I bet I would have liked him then. But whenever I stopped watching, I didn't like him, and whenever I started watching again, I didn't like him again. So I'm loving this. Keep booing him, and let's get that title off him at WrestleMania. Let's give it to Trick Willie. Lil Yachty, yet again, is there helping out his brother, Trick Williams, and he pulls Sammy off the apron, to cause a little bit of a distraction, and then, of course, sells the absolute hell out of a haluva kick from Sammy. And I'm just loving the Yachty Trick dynamic here. But Lil Yachty sold the haluva kick better than about 90% of the roster would, because half these people don't know how to sell anymore, I swear. And he got hit with that thing, and he did the full 360 face plant. I just think that Yachty understands how the business works. That's why I like his involvement, because he is good on the mic. If you've seen him, backing up Trick Williams, he's been doing a great job. And if he can sell like that and kind of get involved with the Trick Williams match, I love it. I think it's awesome. So Yachty's doing a great job, and let's give Trick that title at Mania. You guys knew we were going to talk about this. You guys knew. Let me sip my coffee because I'm really tired before I decide to hop into this. Beautiful. So, Danhausen has his first match in the WWE, and for how boring this SmackDown was, and how boring the SmackDowns have been, and how boring Raw was, this was the match of the week. This was the moment of the week. This was my favorite match of the freaking year. The storytelling that we got, the character work that we got, the moves used, like all this stuff in this match versus Kit Wilson was just unbelievable. It was so fun. This is what we've been missing. We've been missing the fun moments in the WWE. Everything has to be so serious, and we have to, let's only care about the title, and who cares about this dude who's cursing people, and why is this dude a feminist? Anyone who's saying that is a loser. You're an absolute loser. You got to sit back and you got to appreciate what these two are doing, because these are two comedic characters that they are now smashing headfirst into each other, and it's making a magical moment. And we got to see that firsthand in this match. First of all, Danhausen states that he comes from 1313 Mockingbird Lane, which would be a reference to like his house. But funny enough, it actually is I believe it's Hollywood. It's like the Hollywood Studios at Disneyland. It's one of the buildings there is apparently where he comes from, which makes sense because Danhausen is kind of a creature of sorts. I don't know exactly what he is. He's like a vampire demon thing. Poltergeist, not a poltergeist, but kind of thing. I don't know what Danhausen is, but he's freaking awesome. And I don't want him to curse me. So him coming from Mockingbird Lane, kind of funny because everybody else hails from Davenport, Iowa, Hollywood, Florida, all this stuff. And he is from 1313 Mockingbird Lane. I thought it was great. And I just thought it was funny because people online are like, what? Danhausen could wrestle? Did people just think that Big Dan couldn't hit the ring? Like, are we serious? Big Dan been wrestling. We've been knowing this. If you go check out his stuff on the indies, he's great at he does a lot of suplexes, a lot of kicks. It's very traditional. It's not anything like spectacular. It's not like, wow, this is the greatest in-ring technician I've ever seen. I'm not saying that, but I think that it's funny that people didn't know that Big D could go crazy. Pause. They didn't know he could go crazy on the mat. So I just thought that was a little bit funny. And he's been tough. He's just been tough. And then, of course, we get around to the match. He hits a few different suplexes. Him and Kit freaking burn the place down, in my opinion. And then we get to the finish. We get to potentially my favorite finish this year. Favorite finish, maybe not ever, because, the Seth Rollins cash in, the Dolph Ziggler cash in. You got a bunch of crazy different finishes. But this one, you get Kit Wilson. He's heading up to the top rope. He's going to hit the Men Cry 2 diving elbow drop. And Danhausen sits up and curses Kit. And when the pyro went off and Kit fell down and crushed his nuts on that top rope, I genuinely thought I was going to die laughing. It was so funny to me how they were able to pull this off, how you can integrate the curse into a match, and they're doing it all these different ways, like the ref not being able to do the 3 count, and now the pyro going off, and maybe someone's gonna slip and fall and do whatever. Like, the curses, the way that they're implementing them into the match, and it's not just the same thing over and over again, it's so good. It's just making for some great moments, some fun moments. And if we can just keep this up, like, every single week, if we can have Danhausen curse someone and something fun happen to them, I'm just so down. And so far, that's kind of just been what's been happening. And I'm so happy that they decided to bring him in. Whenever he was first brought in, I'm going to be honest, I was like, well, I don't really know who this guy is. I saw the reports online. It's like, oh, Danhausen's inside the box. And I was like, I mean, who's this kind of weirdo? And then I looked up his AEW stuff, and he's doing stuff with a guy named Hook, and I was like, okay, like, this seems like a comedic character. Like, he seems fine. And then I saw some of his stuff on the indies, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's fine. Like he's cool. And then he's gotten to WWE, and this dude is just taken off. He's taken the WWE by storm, and I love it. And I just, like, every time I see him on screen, I'm like, this is what WWE is supposed to be about. It is supposed to be entertainment, and I am beyond entertained with Danhausen. And I just want to say that this SmackDown was so mid, but this match was probably one of the most memorable SmackDown matches this year, and it is definitely a moment I will remember forever. Like, I remember where I was at watching this. I was in my bed. I was sitting there in my bed watching this happen, and I just died laughing, and I'll remember that genuinely for the rest of my life. Moving over to the feud that never ends, the freaking 8-man street fight between the MFT and Wyatt Six it's billed to happen this Friday, and just, are we so for real? Can we just end this feud forever? End this now. This needs to be the final match between the MFTs and the Wyatt Six. And of course, we get Tama Tonga showing up on Raw. He no-showed and didn't help the MFTs versus the Usos and LA Knight. And for sure, this is leading to MFTs ending at SmackDown. And Tama Tonga can kind of go alone and hope maybe just solo rides out with the MFT. Or maybe the MFT just breaks up as a whole and everybody just goes their separate ways. That'd be sick too. But I'm so sick of the MFTs and Wyatt Six. Like, we gotta end this. Which celebrity involvement in WWE has actually worked the best? I'll do one WrestleMania and one now. I think the involvement that works the best for this coming up WrestleMania is between, it's obviously between Lil Yachty and Speed. And I think I'm going to say that Speed has worked better because Speed has relations to Logan Paul. Like, Logan Paul is a YouTuber at heart, and Speed is a streamer. Like, they have that tie, and he gets cursed by Danhausen, and he's been selling it on his streams. LA Knights attacked him at his house during his stream. Like, all this stuff, I feel like the work that Speed's been doing ever since coming into the WWE has been fantastic. So leading into WrestleMania, I think his involvement has worked the best for sure. But if we're going to go all time, if I'm not going to pick him, you got to say Bad Bunny. Well, okay, hold on. I'm not going to say Bad Bunny because I have to say Logan Paul. Logan Paul came in as a celebrity. He came in as a celebrity. He did whatever. He got trained by The Miz. The Miz took him under his wing. And then all of a sudden, he signed a WWE contract with Vince McMahon. And he was the last Vince McMahon signee to the roster. So I think that Logan Paul's celebrity involvement has worked out the best because he is now a full-time wrestler. He's in a full-time main event type storyline with the Vision. So saying anybody else, all time other than Logan Paul, I think is objectively just wrong. Moving into the women's kind of title picture over on SmackDown, we got Io versus Jade. I think this was potentially the best Jade match I've ever seen. Maybe potentially besides the one she did with Naomi at WrestleMania last year. I remember that one was pretty solid. But of course that had the no holds barred kind of additive to it. So just a straight up 1v1 match, from a technical standpoint and even a little bit from storyline. Io versus Jade, this match was really good. And I think the reason it was maybe Jade's best match I've ever seen was because the person she's dancing with is Io Sky, someone that deserves a WrestleMania match, someone that currently doesn't have a WrestleMania match currently set up. So if you guys do want to hear my thoughts on what's going on with Io, that'll actually be, I'll tell you on here. I won't plug my video that I'm going to make, but I do touch on this probably a little bit more on the video that's coming out tonight or tomorrow. The only way Io Sky gets a WrestleMania match, there's actually still an open spot on the Night 2 card. It's open for Io. I don't think, of course, the match is going to be very long. I'm thinking like maybe a 7 to 10 minute match that they're going to fit in there. If Nikki Bella is able to return in time with her ankle injury, the Kabuki Warriors will not get a match in the Fatal 4-Way. Instead, Io will face Asuka at WrestleMania. And that is going to be a game time decision because we don't know the status of Nikki Bella. We really don't, and I'm hoping I'm part of the Bella army for just a week, praying that Nikki Bella gets better so we can get Io versus Asuka at Mania, and then of course we get the Kyrie face turn, which is going to feed families, but all of it's up in the air. If Nikki Bella isn't able to compete, then the Kabuki Warriors take their spot, and we will probably get Io versus Asuka at Backlash, I would think, and we can kind of just build that up over the next few weeks, which is fine, and that's totally okay if we have to push it to Backlash, but these two deserve to be on the Mania card just because of how hard they've been working over the course of time, and Kyrie deserves to have her moment to turn on Asuka at WrestleMania and make this big wow moment for everyone. And of course that involves Io and Asuka, and it kind of just boosts all of their stock as well. So I'm really hoping Nikki Bella can get cleared in time for Mania. If you guys don't pay attention to AAA, as Chelsea Green says, we have been just getting some absolutely peak performances, absolutely peak storylines, and it's because the Undertaker just know what's up. Undertaker does the creative meetings and all that stuff for AAA, and at Triple Mania, the WrestleMania version for AAA, we are getting mask versus mask for New Grande and OG El Grande. And if you haven't been keeping up with this feud in AAA, you guys are missing out. because I think this is probably a better storyline than anything going on Raw and SmackDown. You're getting both the Grandes screwing each other over, taking each other's spots, which is fun, but also on top of that, OG El Grande is the heel over in Mexico, and he has been messing with Andrea, who is actually the new El Grande's girlfriend. She's like I believe she's the ring announcer or one of the interviewers. And so they are actually dating, like in real life. So they're bringing that aspect over into the storyline as well. And so OG Grande's been messing with her, like threatening to like hurt her and like do all this crazy stuff. So he's become a massive heel. And as he's becoming a heel, New Grande keeps saving his girlfriend, attacking OG El Grande, and his babyface stock has just gone through the freaking roof. And it's awesome. And it's like the whole storyline. You guys just go watch. Just go watch AAA because you're gonna be so shocked. The only sucky part is that it's on a Sunday. For me, that's like it's really hard for me to catch up with it. But what I do is I kind of just look at like what's going on that night. I look at the card and I'm like, okay, Hijo del Vikingo and Penta are fighting. I'll make sure I get that match. Maybe there'll be highlights that someone will post. The AAA post from time to time. I hope they start doing it more consistently so I can get everything that goes on. But if that gets posted, then guess what? You can just go watch the highlights and you're like, oh, OG Grande is fighting New Grande, mask versus mask at Triple Mania. That's lit. And Triple Mania, I'm not missing. I'll be watching the entire card. All of their PLEs are normally fantastic. I get to see people that I've never seen wrestle before. People like, Hijo del Vikingo, like I just mentioned. We got, what's his, Laredo Kid. Laredo Kid is fantastic. There's a whole bunch of people over there on AAA that are just killing it. And then out of this storyline, like I said, we're getting mask versus mask for the Americanos. And whenever supposed Chad Gable, because you weirdos online, you think that's who it is. But if he were to get unmasked by the new El Grande Americano at Triple Mania, the place is going to go berserk. And I will not be missing this. And I wish this happened at WrestleMania just to give them their moment. But the fans wouldn't have appreciated it enough. Like, the people in AAA are just eating this feud up, and it's been built in AAA, and they have been enjoying it. So there's no reason to put it on the Mania card. Let the people down in Mexico have their moment with this match, and just don't miss it. To start off Raw, we got a crazy little promo from Roman, and then ends it with, this message is brought to you by the Tribal Chief. And he says he's going to expose CM Punk, which I guess he didn't do. I don't know what the final feud was, which I'm going to get there in a little bit. But it was a cool little promo video. I'm not hating on the promo video. I just thought the ending was the most memorable part. This message is brought to you by the Tribal Chief. That was cool. Maybe we can start like stamping that, and that's going to be like the new thing for Roman Reigns. I don't know. It's kind of funny. But just moving on from that, the Raw crowd in Sacramento was just hot all night. It's always good to have a good crowd like this, but even from the first match, we had Lyra versus Charlotte. I think was the first match. And even just for like a warm-up match like that, which usually like people will get behind Lyra and Charlotte for some reason. And like that's cool. But this crowd in Sacramento was just like, I mean, they were like explosive in that match. And I was like, okay, us getting a good crowd and an explosive crowd that reacts to everything, that's sick. That's what we want. So I love good crowds. Other places take notes. It's time to piss some people off. With little to no explanation, what is my top 10 greatest wrestlers of all time? Number 1, I'm going to go, should I go 1 to 10 or 10 to 1? What do you think? I think maybe I should go 10 to 1. because the number one person you're going to be like, well, of course he'd put him in here. Number 10 slot, Dolph Ziggler. Which right now you're screaming at me, greatest seller of all time. That's all I'm going to say. And then I'm going to move through the list without saying anything else. So Dolph Ziggler at 10, Hulk Hogan at 9, Macho Man Randy Savage at 8, The Rock at 7. At 6, we have Kurt Angle. 5 is The Undertaker. At 4 is Seth freaking Rollins. Number 3 is Stone Cold. Number 2, HBK, Shawn Michaels. And number 1, the GOAT, is Randy Orton. It's my personal top 10. You don't have to agree with it. This is just what I think. Let me know down in the comments what you think your top 10 would be. Don't yell at me. Like I said, it's my personal top 10 greatest off of criteria that I've come up with in my head. I think that these are all people that have given extreme amounts to the WWE. And I think I've changed the wrestling game forever. Someone that was maybe even snubbed from this list was AJ Styles. I think AJ Styles has changed wrestling for the better. And you're probably yelling at me, where's John Cena? I don't mess with John Cena, so he's not on here. Sorry. So yeah, run it back. 10-1, Dolph Ziggler, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Rock, Kurt Angle, Undertaker, Seth freaking Rollins, Stone Cold, HBK, Randy Orton. So that's just what I think. I can debate with some of you down in the comments if you really want to. If you really want me to further explain myself, let me know. Maybe I'll go through and I'll explain why each of these guys are in my top 10 and why certain ones aren't. But honorable mention, AJ Styles. The IShowSpeed getting trained by the Vision segment was awesome. And if you watch the way he runs the ropes, he's been training. He's been training. If you see people run the ropes for the first time or for the first, it's maybe their like first month into training. Whenever they run the ropes, they don't run the ropes like Speed did. Like usually they like run up to it and then slow down and then grab the top rope and hit it and then bounce forward just a little bit, and they're not really hitting it. Speed is slamming into these ropes and getting like a huge push off. I think you're really going to get shocked by Speed here. If you don't follow Speed, you don't understand exactly how stupid athletic this guy is. Of course, he's young. I've known him for years. I've known him for like 5 years. He's been like an internet sensation. But like as a older person, you probably like if you're like 25, 30 and older, you probably have no clue who this kid is. This kid has jumped over cars. He almost beat Noah Lyles, the Olympic runner, in a race. And that's not, and you have to know that's legit because Noah Lyles, as good as he is at running, he's a little bit of a D-bag and he has a huge ego, and he would never let some random streamer beat him. And Speed almost beat him. He was very close. And Speed is, he's a freak athlete, and he's gotten ripped too. He's been working out a ton. He used to just be some scrawny little streamer, and now he's really grown in, I guess, and he's got all this muscle, and he's just dumb athletic, like someone that you not even wouldn't expect because he's got like that sneaky like strong build, but he's so fast, and I really do think he's going to be the best celebrity wrestler we've ever seen. I think there's a huge chance, like I think he's going to be up there. I'm not going to include Logan Paul because he's now a full-time wrestler, but like up with Bad Bunny. Up with Bad Bunny, I think, is where he's going to be. And I think storytelling-wise, he is a storyteller. Streaming is a storytelling job. It is digital storytelling. So I think you're just going to be shocked. That's all I'm saying. I think that Liv versus Steph has been one of the best built feuds on this road to WrestleMania. Constant brawls, hatred, and words, the whole story has worked. I was touching on this earlier with Jacob and Drew. Liv and Stephanie they haven't had any bumps in the road. There's been no part of their feud where I've seen that bit and I've just been like, well, that was kind of just whatever. All of it was like, oh, she talking crap about her mom. Oh, she just said that. Oh, now they're beating ass. Now they're like throwing hands. Like, it's been goated. And then Stephanie She shoved Liv into the TV last week, and that looked insane. And Liv and Roxanne are both on concussion protocol, or were. I think the reports say they're going to be fine for Mania. So that's not really anything to worry about. But the whole story itself has just worked way too well. And I think the match at WrestleMania is going to be such a technical special between these two, because women's wise, these two are like the cream of the crop, in my opinion. I think these are like the two best women's wrestlers, debatably, because you have Io and Rhea up there as well. So I think we're just going to get a crazy match here at Mania. The Usos theme. They debuted a new theme, but it's not really a new theme because it's just main event Jey Uso's theme. But instead of "It's just me, Us," it says "It's just us, Us." Day one, it's just us, Us. Well, guess what? I think it works really well. I think it's what they should have just done in the first place. I actually think I made a joke about that a few weeks ago whenever they were like, oh, are they going to change the Usos theme song to be "It's just us, Us"? And guess what? They did. And it works way better because people are going to just still yeet to it. And the Usos are going to be red hot from the theme. And people love the theme. And people love yeeting. And they do all the stuff. So good job. I didn't even hate the last theme song, the one that they tried to do, but other people didn't like it. They debuted this one, and this works way better, in my opinion. And then they go on to put a great match. To put on a great match. Jeez. LA Knight and Usos just getting some practice against the MFTs before they face the Vision and IShowSpeed. And again, I think it's a sleeper match at Mania. It's a real sleeper because people are going to look at this and be like, oh, LA Knight and the Usos. Ooh, Jey Uso botches all the time. LA Knight botches all the time. Who cares about the Vision? Oh, who's this stupid streamer? That's what some people are thinking. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, let's go. Let's go. This match is going to be sick. It's going to be a sleeper. That's what I've been saying for weeks. So just be excited for that one. And it's going to be on the first hour on ESPN. So make sure if you don't have ESPN, you're going to get that one for free. So for as little time as they've had to build Seth versus Gunther, they have done a great job, in my opinion. I think that obviously having to pivot and not wanting to build Seth versus Braun Breaker in a 1 to 2 week time gap was the correct choice. And you can also build both Seth and Gunther at the same time, giving them their own match. Everything just works out really well. So I don't even have that much to say. Good job. You have the connection with Paul Heyman now versus Seth. Everything lines up correctly. It's just been great for just being on such short notice. We get this backstage segment between Adam Pearce and Dom, and Adam Pearce says, "Your dad's a Hall of Famer." Dom immediately goes, "No, he's not." And then Adam Pearce is like, "You're going up against Finn Balor." And Dom's like, No. It says I'm going up against the Demon. I didn't sign up for that." And he goes, "Cancel the match." I just think that Dom's one-liners are just so unmatched. And we've seen it time and time again. Whenever he was in that feud with AJ, and AJ was down on his knees praying, he was like, "Please clear Dominic Mysterio, please." And Dom for a quick sec just goes, "God, you better not." And he's like sitting there praying and pointing up at the sky. That was funny. And then we get all these little bits from him. And even in interviews, he was on Chris Van Vliet's podcast a long time ago. And CVV was asking him about his dad, and he immediately just goes, "Well, which one?" Not breaking kayfabe, throwing in these little one-liners, and it just always sets up comedy gold for me. That's whenever he was injured, Adam Pearce asked him. This was a long time ago, fighting AJ again. That whole feud, by the way, super underrated. I thought it was so much fun. Adam Pearce is like, "Well, it looked like you were completely fine running around out there." And he goes, it was the adrenaline in my soul. Obviously a reference to Cody Rhodes' theme song. All of his one-liners are unmatched. I just thought I'd chuck it in there. And Dom doesn't even want to fight the Demon, obviously, because he's trying to find a way to get out of this fight. So it's just kind of funny. Are superhero movies falling off is my next question. Yes. I haven't cared about a superhero movie coming out in a long time. I think The Spider-Man movie that's about to come out, I'm excited for. But other than that, all of the superhero movies have sucked, like really bad. I think Avengers Doomsday is going to be terrible. I think it's literally going to be terrible. Um, I don't really have that much to say, but superhero movies falling off, yeah. I also have to go to class in like 5 minutes, so I'm going to speed through these. Kairi Sane beat up Io Sky, and she beat her. She beat her in a match, and I wonder if this is like a calm before the storm type thing. I still believe that we might get Io versus Asuka at Mania. Obviously, like I just said, we're waiting for Nikki Bella to get cleared. But I wonder if it's a calm before the storm, because we can get like Kairi's like, yeah, that's right, I beat Io, and me and Asuka are friends now. And then it's going to turn over, and we're going to get Asuka versus Io. Asuka's going to ask for Kairi's help, and Kairi's going to turn on her. I feel like we see this calm before the storm type thing like quite often. So just look out for it as long as they get their match. The tag match between Dragon and Javon versus JD and Rusev was just an appetizer for what we get at Mania. And I'm just so excited for that match. And I'm going to talk about that match in just a sec. Right after I talk about this. Roman versus Punk. That promo, like, did y'all just want to like make out or something at the, like, what was the point of that? They came out and Punk's like, I'm sorry I talked bad about your dad. I'm just jealous of you. And Roman's like, yeah, I'm jealous that all these fans love you. And Punk's like, yeah, I'm jealous that you sat at the top for so long. That was so terrible. Like just kiss already. Go get a room. Like it was terrible. Like it was genuinely terrible. I thought it was so weird. I was sitting there the entire time just like, what are they even talking about? We went from I'm picking you because I hate you to, oh man, well, I just want to be best friends with you after WrestleMania, and that's what matters. Like that's genuinely what it sounded like to me. It was terrible. It was so stupid. Last question says, heading into WrestleMania, you can only watch one match. Which one are you choosing? And this is why I wanted to wait. I would watch the IC title ladder match. I think this match is going to be such a freaking treat. And people online, I feel like aren't even talking about it that much. But all the people that are involved, they're all just going to kill it. They're going to kill it. And we have all these high flyers, plus a Rusev who's going to cause just like a ton of carnage down on the ground. And I think we're going to get a bunch of false finishes of people running up the ladder and someone else maybe grabbing them, setting up a different ladder. It has the potential to be the greatest ladder match we've ever seen, especially maybe the greatest ladder match at WrestleMania ever. So really excited. If I had to pick one match, it's this one. And if it didn't have to be this one, then the Dom match, obviously. I want to see the Demon Finn. I want to see my boy Dom. Those are probably the two matches I would pick. But if it could just be one, it'd be the ladder match. So that is the final question on this episode of the WWE Weekly Review. Make sure to turn the bell on for notifications to watch out for my video that's going to be coming out here in the next 24 to 48 hours. That'll be my official predictions for WrestleMania. It's going to have a bunch of pictures alongside it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot more of a fun viewing experience. Unlike this one where you just get to see my beautiful face sitting here talking. So do me a favor, like and subscribe down below. It really helps me out. I really appreciate you guys for watching the video. Really does mean a lot to me. We're at like 119 subscribers, which is just, I mean, it's just crazy to me that I have that big of a following. I think it's more than I deserve, but I'm more than blessed to be doing this. So I want to thank you guys for joining me here today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.